In last week's video, I talked about the importance of proper orientation as well as hopefully explained how to do it successfully. And then in today's video, I'm going to show you how to take those properly orientated models and use a lot of these automated features in Lychee Plus. That way you can get from 3D file to your printer as quick as possible. The first one we're going to do is the chest, which again I orientated in last week's video, and it has the hollowing holes already placed. That's not automatic yet, you still have to do that manually for now. But anyway, what we need to do is we need to hollow it out. So for that, make sure you're under Prepare, Hollow, and then here the new Voxel 3D Hollowing. I like to do my hollowing at about 1.7 thickness, and then I like to have the check boxes for the fill interior resin traps and for suction cups. Now for the suction cup to work properly, and for the resin traps to work properly, you do need to have hollowing holes placed first. So make sure those are there first, then run this tool. I'm gonna do an interval, that's just the pillars it's gonna put in there for like adding some infill for supports. I'm gonna put it at 8 millimeters. So every 8 millimeters, it'll add a pillar on a grid pattern. That will build the hollowing out. Let's see what that looks like. And I think that did a great job. So as right now, we're now done with our hollowing. Let's move on to supports. To do that, I'm just going to click on support up here, and then I'm going to go to auto, and I want to do the plus supports. This is the new algorithm for automatic supports within Lychee Slicer. I'm going to select my preset. For this one, I'm just going to do the 75 millimeter one. It should work well for this one. And then I'm going to click on generated automatic supports. If you notice, it automatically lifted the model up off the build plate. Now it's going to go through and add all the supports. Now, depending on the size of the object, not how many polygons it has, but the actual size, the algorithm can take longer or less time. The reason for that is surface area. The more surface area the object has, the more math it has to do. And something with a very large surface can be millions of points it has to calculate, as well as like volumes and all sorts of stuff. So it can take a little longer if the object is bigger. We are working on that to make the algorithm faster, and that'll be out in future updates. But anyway, this is ran. It did 405 supports. Let's see what they look like. One thing I do like to do is just go over to visibility and do the tips only, and then just make sure I can't see the lines, just to kind of give it a quick inspection, just to see how everything looked, see if there's any changes I want to make to anything, maybe some supports I want to get rid of, or some I want to move, or maybe a couple I want to add. But to be completely honest, I'm actually pretty happy with the way this looks right now. This is a rather large chest, so it's got quite a few supports on the overhang. If I didn't like the density of overhang, one thing I could do is I could go through and, for like example, let's say on this arm, I do want some overhang support, but I want to make sure they're relatively small. I can just select them all and let's say do like light, make sure all of them are light support tips, so they're going to be very, very little support damage. But for the most part, I think I'm actually pretty happy with the way this is looking right now. So we are now done with the chest. Let's move on. And just for fun, let's do all the small bits just in one run. So over here, I want to select supports, but I'm actually going to change it to the 35 millimeter or, kind of thin and tall parts. And I'm just going to automatically generate those ones as well, just with a one button click. All right, so we've generated 1,416 supports total. And let's see kind of what they look like. Let's get all. And they're not looking too bad. Good supporting on the keys. Maybe this one could use a couple extras here on that key right there. I like my keys to have a few extra supports on them. And let's see, I know I did this one twice. Once with it flipped with the top of the helmet pointing down, so I can just sand it down. The other one flipping the other way around, and that's looking pretty good. Gonna be pretty easy to sand. And one thing I probably could do on this guy is, let's just go over to the contacts, tips. And if I don't like how many stabilizations are going up on this one thing I could do is I could just come over here and edit this just really, really quick. I'm just gonna go down to the stabilization. I'm just gonna turn them off. And I'm just gonna rerun it for this one guy right here. And we're just going to delete the supports and run it again. And that way there won't be the green ones in there, which I think because this thing is so short, doesn't really need them. And there we go, they're gone. I think that's ultimately gonna be a little bit better for how I want this thing to come together. And then you just make sure to go back in here, edit, and turn those back on for the next time I run it. And there we go. Now the stabilization, the green ones, are no longer on that one object. For everything else, it's looking good. Wait, there's one thing I forgot about. I do have mini supports disabled, so his teeth didn't get supported. So I'm gonna go over here and do a quick island search on the head. And you see here, I've got a couple little islands here that, some of these are so small because I'm ignoring certain islands, like the ear, so that's why that one got dropped off. Same over here, it's just a very, very small island. In my preset, I'm ignoring very, very small islands. But the teeth right here, those didn't get supported because I'm not doing mini, because I personally prefer to come in here and do them myself. Let's do it as like an extra small. And I'll just add a couple in here manually to the T. That's good for the head there. And so there we go. Now that that's cleaned up, I think we are ready to print all the small parts. For the legs, I literally did the exact same thing I did for the chest. So no difference on those two, and it came out looking fantastic. This thing is definitely print ready. For this base here, I'm gonna do things a little bit differently. If I look at the back of the base, you'll see here this part's got a texture on it, the other part's flat. Most bases are flat across the entire thing. They don't have this texture in there that makes my life a little bit difficult, but I can still kind of show you when I want to show you using the key, the flat part right here. For that, I'm going to make sure I'm under support, and then under manual, I want to go to start support projection. From there, I'm going to paint the surface I wish to place supports or project supports onto, and that's going to be that key right there. From there, I'm just going to click on preview, and I can get a pattern of what they're going to look like. That's all the little yellow dots is where a support's going to be placed. That looks fine to me. We're just going to click on add 122 supports, and those have been added to that key. I'm just going to scroll that up right there. Now, what I would normally do with projection supports is I would also run it on the whole surface. But because it's got that texture to it, it's a little bit difficult. I could play around with this angle right here and try and grab more or less, but it's going to get pretty difficult as that texture is pretty bumpy, and it's just going to be a little bit awkward to use it. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the entire object, go back to auto, and then I'm going to just do, let's say my mini one. Let's see what that one looks like. And then, actually no, let's do the 75mm. I haven't actually created a preset specifically for bases. That's something I probably should do here in the future. But let's just go through and automatically generate supports. It's gonna ask me if I want to delete the supports that are already there. On this one, I'm actually gonna hit, I wanna keep them. This way, it's not gonna do the automatic supports over that key. It's gonna keep the projection support over the key and only do automatic supports over the rest of the object with that kind of crazy texture on it. All right, so we've just added an additional 1,200 supports, which is quite a few supports for this base. It is a rather large base, and like I said, it does have that crazy texture on the bottom. But overall, I think it's looking pretty good. This thing will definitely print without a problem. It looks like we have one red support there. If you end up having a red support, that just means it's closer to the object than Lychee likes. A way to deal with that one is just go over to View, and then Support Visibility, and we want to select Show Only Supports with Proximity Errors. That way, this one will show up. Looks like the issue with this one is that it was actually just kind of too close to the hollowing hole there, so I'll just delete it. I don't really need it. At that point, we're good to go. And I definitely saved the best for last, the cape. On this one, I'm gonna try out the 75mm one. So I'll just select on the cape, make sure the 75mm is selected, and click on Generate Automatic Supports. Now, while this is running, I'll definitely say the support presets that I created, the 35 and the 75, they're not perfect. I still think they have a long ways to go. And as you get different types of models, they can behave very differently versus like a big, thick structure or something thin like this cape. So if you ever end up running these and you're kind of like, not enjoying the way that looks, it's okay. And feel free to go in there and edit it, tweak it, do whatever you want to make it different, or just come complain to me and say, hey, I don't like this preset you made. I want you to make it like this. And then I can hopefully, maybe tweak it a little bit just for you and send it back to you, and you can let me know if you like my modifications. All right, let's just preview all the support tips again. And so far, it's not too bad. It's looking pretty good, actually. Maybe a little bit too much density on the overhangs, which is actually really easy to tweak. If I wanted to change that just a little bit, let's say, kind of like what I did for the stabilizations, I could come in here and edit this. And we could go over to the overhang. And right now, my interval, which is of course how close they are together, I could just bump this up. So let's say minimum, I wanted that to be 2.2. And my maximum, let's say I wanted that 4.8. I'm just gonna bump them up just a little bit. Hit OK, and then I can just run this again. And now everything will stay the same except for on those overhangs, the yellow ones. They're just gonna be a little bit less dense. And there we go. That density definitely made some changes. Before we were close to 1,000 or maybe right over 1,000, can't remember. But now we're 643, so there's definitely a lot less support to this run. As we look at it from underneath, we can definitely tell they are spread out a little bit more. Just with that little change, I think we got this thing right where I want it to go. So don't be afraid to go in there with the automatic supports and make those few adjustments. I think the ones that are the easiest to really understand is the setting I made just right there, that density of the overhang. It will probably have the biggest impact of all of the settings in the different pre-supports that you may use, download, or make yourself. And there we go. I think that's about all I need to show you about how to use these tools. Let me support the rest of the model off camera, and then let's throw it on the printer, print it, and see how it comes out. So here he is. He came out really, really well, except for the cape. I had a lot of issues with the cape, but nothing to do with the supports. But anyway, I actually went ahead and printed him again, using a different resin on a different printer. And let's take these supports off and see how they go. The resin I'm using right here is the Frozen Snow Gray. Now, lighter colored resins aren't as accurate, and that's true with this one as well, but I really like the surface area that it gives and kind of the color. If you look at the model of this guy, he's kind of mostly white with like some gold and black tones to him. So I decided to print him again in the Snow Gray. But let's remove the supports on it and see how it goes. Starting with the pants right here, what I like to do is just kind of pull off the ones on the front, just rip them off so that way when I'm pulling it out, they don't scratch the surface. I don't want scratches all over the surface. Do the same thing to the back. There we go, the pants are off. Now on the chest, between printing the one here and this one, I did just delete the supports on the arm. I just felt they weren't unneeded, so I just went through, grabbed them and hit delete. Let's just remove these ones, the same. There we go, all removed. Let's see how well they fit up. And we got a really good fit on that one, so nice. Got his foot. We got the other Cerebro helmet here. Let's get these off. These ones, be a little careful with these because some of these bits are pretty fragile. I don't want them to break. There we go. If we can see the top of that helmet, and I'll include some pictures, there's definitely the bumps on it from orientating it like that. However, I think that's gonna be really easy to sand down flat and overall give it a very, very clean texture. Now, before a few comments, people said, hey, if I print like this one, isn't that a big suction cup? And you're correct, it is. However, if you increase your light off delays, that actually can really mitigate the issues with suction cups, and you can print things like this. Another thing I could have done is and probably should have, is put a small hole through the key in the back because I wouldn't need to fix that or repair that, and that would have alleviated some of the suction cup thing. So that's something I just missed. Let's just throw them together real quick. And his head won't fit because we're missing the best part, the cape. Let's see how this support removal goes. And there we go. I think that came out pretty easily and looks very clean. I don't think there's gonna really be any need for sanding on this one. Maybe a tiny, tiny bit on some of these overhangs, but ultimately this came out really, really well. As you can see, I am wearing gloves while I'm handling this. That's because I haven't post-cured and cleaned it yet. Before I'll handle resin without gloves, I like to post-cure it for a good long time, and then I'll actually wash it with a little bit of cold water and soap, at which point I feel more confident touching with my bare hands. Until then, I'm keeping the gloves on. Let's put this cape on. Let's get his head. There it is. Get that on there. And then the last piece, the Cerebro helmet, which definitely needs, like I said, a little sanding on the top. And there we go. He's all said and done. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like and subscribe. If you haven't joined the Lychee Slicer Discord, do that now. I'd love it if you said hello. And as always, thank you for watching and have a good day.